Merry Christmas. So I want to be nice about this, but I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little bit mean. Merry Christmas to you guys. I like all you guys. I just want to point something out to you. I'm not going to look at the text because I'm busy. I got to wash my hair. Just kidding, but I'm not going to take the time because I've done it a million times. But Deuteronomy 30, tell me where I'm wrong here. TFan, Israel, Colton, CJ, who's pregnant, by the way. CJ is a pregnant man. He's prego. He's with child. Congratulations on that. I'm just tickled for you, man. Okay, so tell me where I'm wrong here. Oh, so I'm going to do my little reductio sort of mocking or whatever, but bear with me here. Deuteronomy 30 doesn't disprove exhaustive divine determinism. Yeah, nothing could, I guess, because like Deuteronomy 30, I mean, it's not like it says God it practically begs them, tells them he wants them to, says they can, says don't say you can't. And he says, I want you to, you can, don't say you can't. You're going to say stuff like, who will go over the sea and do it? Who will come down from heaven? And he's like, don't say that. Don't do that because that's not true. It's in your mind and it's near to you. He didn't just saying, I gave you the law, you have it. But really you can't. No, he says, I want you to do it. He says, you can do it. He basically begs them to do it and pleads with them to do it. He lays out life and death. So there's two options there too, like 1 Corinthians 10, 13. It's like, look, dude, the revealed will of God is him telling him he wants them to choose life and they don't. So are you saying his real will is that they do disobey? That means he's lying in the revealed text. Forget the Calvinism thing. Like the author of Deuteronomy 30 is chastising them for not doing something they should and could have done. And if that doesn't mean that, then nothing would ever, you couldn't try to express it more strongly and forcefully than Deuteronomy 30. Don't say you can't. I'm saying, please. He's like, I want you to. You're gonna make excuses up like total depravity and Calvinism. And I said, don't do that. That's what you're doing. You're doing what he's saying in the text not to do in its new form. It seems like to me. I'm just being honest. Like, it's like I get it, dude. It's hard. Like Adventists have stuff like, Hebrews 9 says Jesus went in, the behind the veil and all this, and it's like, it's like, okay, I get it. Everybody breaks the Sabbath, doesn't care about the Sabbath. How can they all be wrong? Well, and you're like beholden to your in group or whatever. I get it. But the Sabbath is still a thing. It's still holy. Change my mind. Don't be a false prophet and say the Sabbath is not holy anymore or something. That would be very bad. That would be like what everybody thinks Ellen White is guilty of, being a false prophet. If you were to say the Sabbath wasn't holy anymore, that it changed, you would be a false prophet. So don't be a false prophet. Just saying. Merry Christmas and all. Yeah. But it's like, dude, Deuteronomy 30 says, like every way you could say it. Like God shows he wants them to. He's like, don't lie and say you can't because you can. Please do it. And then they didn't do it. But really, he determined them. I mean, there's a sense where it's like, I guess you could say he knew they wouldn't do it. But dude, God wanted them to do it and they could have done it. That's what the text says, okay? That's what the text says. Come on, guys. Like if you want to, that's what the writer of the text wants us to think, is what I'm saying. Maybe Calvinism's still ultimately true. You can make a case for that. I mean, like there's a lot of nice insights that Calvinists have, I think. But here, Deuteronomy 30, it's not, it doesn't really mean to indicate or to suggest that they should have and could have done it or that God wanted them to. It's like, dude, you're making God dishonest here. It's his word, man. There's not a hint of Calvinism in Deuteronomy 30. Let's be honest here. Maybe the writer of Deuteronomy didn't know Calvinism was true. And it seems like God operates like we're supposed to think we have choices to make and should make the right one and punishes us when we don't. I mean, I guess you could say, let's just be honest. If people didn't have the ability to obey, if that were true, then the text is, God is not teaching us that from the Bible. Okay. Maybe God did secretly not want us to obey and it was impossible. I guess, but that would mean the way he's presenting himself in the word of God is deceptive. Just saying. So I'm just going to go with like how the text tells me to think God is speaking, and that is that we ought to obey and can obey and should obey, and that he wants us to, just like that's why it's his law, you know? So anyways, God bless. No hard feelings. Love you guys.